What is going on, everybody? Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. My name is The Great Dane. I am a fully doxed person. I am hiding nothing. If you want to go check out some of my real estate vlog videos on my channel, you can learn a little bit about me and what I'm doing day in and day out so that I can generate some income and some funds that I am willing to lose by investing those into crypto projects that I support. And one of those projects is one I wanted to talk to you guys today about. It is an NFT decentralized gaming project called CroSkulls. And the Crow in CroSkulls talks about the network that it's part of, which would be the Cronos Network or CRO. A lot of that could be found on crypto.com. You've probably seen a lot of their advertising. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my face out of the way while I talk about this project, go through some of the Discord, some of the actual website pages, and just talk to you a little bit about this project. And hopefully you guys get a little bit of interest. Maybe it's something you want to check out. Maybe you want to get involved in this project as well. And just a little disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not giving any kind of financial advice. I'm just sharing some of the things I am doing in the crypto space right now. Even in these bear markets, there are still opportunities. And I will start by talking to you guys about this opportunity, which is the CroSkulls project, which is still early. You're not late to this project. At least I don't think you're late to this project, as I just got into it myself. I want to say about 1 month ago. I've actually just been part of their first season that just finished. So let's dive into that. Let's get into the Crow Network. Let's get into CroSkulls, and let's get crowing. All right, so to start, what we are right now is we are sitting on the website for the CroSkulls project. You can see it's app.croskull.com, and I am connected to the Cronos Network right now through my MetaMask. So you can see here, it's actually got my wallet address loaded right up top there. And what you can see now is all of a sudden my address isn't here anymore. That's because we're not connected to the actual Crow Network. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click on our MetaMask here. It's gonna tell us it needs to switch networks. Let's cancel this. Here we go. Allow the site to switch to the network, Cronos Network. We're gonna switch. So there you go. You can see here my assets. Grave, we'll get into that. Crow, that one, ignore that. It's the same thing, this right here. So you can see I've got the 377 Crow currently sitting in this wallet. And here we go. So now we have full access to the CroSkull site because we're connected with a wallet that's on the Crow Network. What I want to do is I want to open up Discord here. And you can see I am on the CroSkull Discord. I'll make sure I throw links to all of this in the description as well. I really love the setup of the channels of the CroSkull Discord. And the first thing I always recommend is join the Discord for a project that you're interested in buying into or becoming a member and owner, because you want to get to have a feel. You want to get the feel of the chat room, the people, the project leaders. You want to get an idea if it's a project that you're going to like. And you can watch my video here and learn about it, but at the end of the day, you got to do your own research. That's right, DYOR. If you ever see that acronym out there, that's what we're talking about, doing your own research. First things I like to do when I join a Discord, the very first thing I do is I hit the announcements page. I like to go all the way back to the very beginning, see when they first posted an announcement, when they last posted an announcement, and kind of get a feel for how often they're actually throwing those up there. Because in this space of NFTs, days feel like years. And you know what I mean if you're already in this space. So I like to just check out how often you're getting announcements. And CroSkull project is active. I'm telling you, I have notifications every single day, whether it's a Twitter post, a minor announcement, a major announcement, whatever it is, they've got announcements happening, which I love. And it's not just your, hey, let's go Twitter spam somebody. It's not just that. Yes, you can see right now there's some Twitter posts, but they all have some actual good content to them. So next thing I do after the announcements, yes, I like to hop into the general chat, see how active the chat is, which again, this is a very active chat. But I like to go to the official link. So right down here under the welcome tab, if you're watching, you can see here you got the medium recap, CroSkull report, welcome, rules, roadmap, announcements, yada, yada, yada. I like official links because you need to, I can't say you can trust a link that's on a Discord. You do have to be careful, make sure it hasn't been a compromised Discord. That seems to be kind of common these days. but you want to make sure you're dealing with the correct links. So you can see here, they got their Twitter, their Discord, their website, the CroSkull.com, which you guys just saw, and we will be going back to that. But some of the important links you're always going to need are in here, and that's what I love. They have this nice and simple, and you can just get a quick idea here. They've got an Instagram, Medium, Gitbook, the EvoSkulls Market, which I hope I'm saying that right. You got the CroSkull Adventure page, which is the app that we showed. So if I actually click on CroSkull.com, you'll see that is a slightly different website. It's a good starting point for you to get on there and just learn about Bonesville, where the CroSkull adventures happen. But let's get a little bit more into this. Out of all these links here, because there's a lot of links, I want to hop right back over to the actual app, and then I'm going to show you guys the Gitbook, because I think the Gitbook is the best piece of information you can find on this project, and a lot of what you're going to hear from me can be obtained by just taking your own time and reading through the actual Gitbook. So if we're right here and we're on the actual app.CroSkull site, you can come up here into the top right hand side, and right next to the Twitter logo is the actual Gitbook link, which I already have open here, and here we are on the CroSkull Gitbook. And like I said, they have everything organized and so descriptive on here, but the most important thing you need to know is what do these things look like? How many of them are there? What is the point? What is the utility, and what I want to get involved in this project for? So here we go. CroSkulls, 6,666 randomly assembled skulls from over 135 plus traits. Personally, I love the 6666 number. They're skulls, eerie related, and you got the 666s. I love that. I love the idea of that. So how do you get one of these CroSkulls? I think that's important. We just talked about obtaining your actual crow and how to get that. So how do you go and buy one of these? I think we might be jumping a step ahead. But once you've realized that maybe you want to invest in this project, you need to know how you're going to go acquire one. There's the EvoSkulls Marketplace right here, which we already have open. So here's the marketplace. If you're not already on the Crow network on your MetaMask, this page would also ask you to switch your network over and be connected, but we're already on there. But let's just back up to the actual main EvoSkulls page. It just confuses me. I keep thinking it's eBay. Like I go to type in eBay in my browser and it pops up. So luckily that helps me get here. But what we can do from here, and this is how I actually found the CroSkulls project to begin with. I was on this site. I was curious about the Crow network and the NFTs that are on there because I had a buddy mentioning it to me. So I came to the marketplace and I said, well, let's see what they got. So I clicked on collections. Yes, you can go straight to the marketplace if you want and start buying stuff. But if we click over here on collections, you can get some charts. So if you're familiar with OpenSea or LooksRare and those sites, it's looking at the stats and the analytics, and that's how I am. I'm an analytical person. I said, okay, I've got X amount of Ethereum that I'm going to convert to Crow. What project would that allow me to get into? So I like to always come and look at what some of the top projects are to start. So currently it's set to all time, and I could see on all time, what the top 10 projects at the time were. I saw CroSkull there, and at the same time I saw the floor price. Floor price was actually, I think when I got into this project, maybe right around it was in the low 2000s. It was sitting right around 2,400 on average to purchase one of these skulls, but also the price of Crow was higher at the time. I think it was more like 16 cents or 18 cents. So, when you look back about a month from when I got into this, it's really about the same buy-in price. But you could see some of these projects, 22,000 Crow. I wanted to find one that was a popular project that I could see constantly hitting the charts and had a decent buy-in and looked appealing to me. And I liked the decentralized adventure game aspect of it and the fact that you were able to earn things on these adventures. I like that. So what I did was after all time, I clicked on 30-day. And what do you know? CroSkull was still there. 7-day, CroSkull was still there. 1 day, CroSkull still there. So I could see that their volume, when I put this in order of volume, CroSkull continue to always be there, because I want to be in projects where there's actual volume, because volume at the end of the day is what allows you to get out of a project or have activity, have growth. It's not guaranteed, but those are just some of the things I look for. I like volume. I like to see activity, and that goes back to the Discord and seeing how active people are in there as well. So I've shown you how you get into it. So if I click into CroSkulls now, you're going to see here it's going to bring us over to their actual page in the marketplace, and this is what's interesting. We can see that there was 6,666. Check this active listings out. 157. That is a low number of listings for the total supply. And the reason for that is you have the ability to stake these skulls. And we're going to get into that here in just a second. But just to show you a little bit more of this marketplace, you can click on activity and you can see right here, this is the next thing I'm looking at when I'm looking at active projects. Check this out. Time, 1 hour ago, 1 hour ago. So in the past hour, there's been 2 sales. In the past, so if I want to scroll down here and I'm looking for just what's happened in the past 24 hours, that's quite a few skull transactions right there. And you can see the prices people are paying on average. It's about 3,000 right now. There's ranking, which, that's subjective if the rank really matters to you or not. But that's some good activity right there. And then you can see it's got the other indicators. But what's so neat about seeing this low active listings, there's a reason for that, and I just told you that, and it's the staking feature. So let's get off the marketplace here. We don't even need this one open anymore. We're going to close the marketplace. We've covered how to get your CroSkull. So now, how do you really get involved in the ecosystem once you obtained this CroSkull? First thing I would do, if you go and you purchase this CroSkull, I would go straight in to the app here, because this is where you're going to be doing everything related to the game. It's going to be happening right here through this app. So the first thing you're going to want to do is acquire some grave. With that grave, you can start doing a lot of different activities planned for the CroSkull Metaverse and Bonesville. One thing is you don't need to get the grave right away unless you want to start doing a few things, like for instance the raffles. The neat thing with these CroSkulls is you're going to generate this grave by staking your skull. And if we hop back over to Discord real quick, there is a marketplace for this grave token, GRVE, right here on the left-hand side. I love that they have the price always sitting there. You can see it's sitting at about 25 cents per grave. And if you want to actually just go buy grave direct, you can. Here's the link right here, trade grave on MM Finance. So you could actually click on that, and then you could go convert some Ethereum or some CRO directly into grave. Actually, Ethereum's on there. So there's a lot of tokens, and you can actually convert that directly into grave token, which is a CRC20 token, I believe, along with 2 of the others, the SLS and the Rude that we'll be talking about. From my understanding, that's essentially the same thing as an ERC20, same contract. I don't want to say same contract address. Actually, I think it is. Hopefully I can get some clarification from that on someone, but either way, it doesn't matter. You're doing your exchange here and you will receive that grave. But why would you want to do that? Let's hop back over here. So what are you doing with this grave? When you have grave, you can publish a story to your CroSkull, meaning you can give it a description. So you can add a story with that 10. You can see here where you can add all this information, and I'll be able to show that to you here in a second, because one of mine actually already had a story on it when I bought it. The other did not. But let's just go to the next page here. So what are EvoSkulls? So you got CroSkulls, you got EvoSkulls. EvoSkulls, there's only 333 of these. It was really recent that they actually released these. And when I say released, you had the ability to go into the laboratory on the app page and combine a red and blue potion that were airdropped to holders originally. I don't know all the details around that on how certain holders obtained those, because there's only 333 of each, and we know there's 6,666 of these, but this was past my joining of the project. I did not have the airdrop of a blue or red, and the marketplace for those was pretty pricey, but when you combine those, you obtain a purple potion, and from that purple potion, you were able to evolve the super rare skull, which we'll have to load some of those up and show those to you. They look so sick. They're one of ones. The art on them is amazing. They're just crazy looking skulls. So we'll move past that for the time being. The big difference though on these EvoSkulls is that they've got these traits. You can level them up. You earn more grave than the standard skulls, but just to go and purchase one of these right now, I think we're talking 20,000 CRO is kind of what these are trading around, or more, 20,000 or more. But they've got different abilities and different features on those EvoSkulls. So here we go. Ecosystem. This decentralized game is going to be based on 10 adventures. There's going to be a total of 10, and we just finished season 1. That's what this S1 below CroSkull adventure is all about. It's talking about this specific season, which just ended. Once you're in that adventure mode, you can put your CroSkull on the adventure. Basically, you're staking them on this adventure, and once they're staked, you earn 3 grave every day. The one thing is this little red tab here that says Burn Malice. It starts out where you've got this 80% malice, and it drops 2.5% every day. Basically, all that's doing is it's reducing the amount of grave you're going to be able to claim until you've had this thing staked for X amount of time, which I believe it's about 30 days for that malice to drop to 0%, where you're not being penalized some of the grave. You know, it's just a way to keep people from destaking and claiming their grave. You know, it's a way to keep all of these skulls staked. And the crazy thing is typically there's about 90% of the total supply staked at a given time. That's why the number of active listings is so low, because most people are actually staking these and taking advantage of the utility and the actual gaming aspect. And also, one thing I forgot to mention is if you leave your CroSkull staked for 30 days, you're obtaining 1 SLS, which is another token. You can see down here on the list here, it gets into all of those. If you really want to drill into all of this, which I recommend you do because it's thorough, it's good information, it's going to help you take advantage of all the perks that you're getting correctly. And I say that because, for instance, the EvoSkulls we were just talking about, they earn 9 grave per day. Well, guess what? With your EvoSkulls, you got to claim that 9 grave daily because it does not compound. It doesn't turn into 18 grave on day 2 that you can claim. No, at the end of day 6, if you never claimed any of the grave, it still only generated you 9 grave. So that's something important to know. Whereas these skulls are earning you a flat compounding 3 per day. So here we go. How long does a season adventure last? We got 100 days per adventure, where you're going to be earning that grave. There is a certain amount of eligible grave, or allocated grave, I should say, based on the total number of skulls. Whether they're staked or not, there is a certain amount of grave that's set aside. And the reason for this is, at the end of the 10 seasons, grave will no longer be earned. What does that mean? It means you still have time. That's really what it means. We're only finishing season 1. There is a lot of grave out there to obtain, so you're not too late to the party. And the reason this grave will stop to exist is because then it's going to be part of their DAO, the ability to offer governance, let the holders of grave participate in the route and the decisions that are made on this project. So that's pretty neat. I don't believe the grave is going to be used as much as like a transaction token versus the SLS or the Rude, but we'll get more into that. And again, more information of that's on the Git book. If I happen to not cover something, or I miss covering something and you want to drill into it and get some more information. So here you go. How can I redeem? You can just click claim on there, and we'll get into the actual app and show you all this. How many can you actually send on an adventure? Well, all of them if you want. Then we have the Tavern. All right, so we have the Tavern now, and the Tavern is where you can see some of your inventory that you have. And you can see here, they got a little picture of an egg, those potions that we talked about. It's got your actual skulls, it's got pets, and that's something we have not talked about. Talked about the CroSkulls, we've talked about the EvoSkulls. Now we get into pets. Pets are another part of the ecosystem. Each season, there's gonna be a certain amount of pets that can be obtained, and you have to acquire these by spending grave. And how much grave is that exactly? Well, it's 500 grave. I know there's a dollar sign making you think $500. That's not the case. It's just 500 grave. They put that because typically a lot of tokens nowadays put the dollar sign before right here, like you see, the GRVE, the SLS, the RUD, just to designate that it's an actual token. So it requires 500 grave. So that area I was just showing you where you could do the actual exchanging of Ethereum to grave, I took advantage of that because I wanted to acquire some of these pet eggs at the time. You were allowed to get up to 3. I wanted to acquire a couple pets, so I went and I actually got some grave off of the secondary marketplace so that I could transact, because I did not have multiple skulls staked in this season to have earned me that grave. But you know, when you think in the future, the idea would be if you've got yourself a couple skulls, you're able to earn enough grave to make some of these, I don't want to say free transactions, but maybe costless, because you're not having to go spend some of your own Ethereum or do any kind of conversion of grave. Maybe you earned it just by doing the staking. These pets are going to be similar to the EvoSkulls in the sense that they will earn rewards, they have traits, and they have the ability to be leveled up. Here you go. How do you get the pet? It talks about the 500 grave, what can pets do, what we just talked about. Similar to the EvoSkulls, they're going to be able to do, I guess we can call them special missions. And I don't know much about that yet. It hasn't been introduced in Season 1. Like, we didn't have the ability to go send them out on missions within the adventure. That's going to be coming up, so that's exciting. But you can see here, you actually have stats tied to each of these pets. There's a little grading system. You can level them up by spending RUD, which we haven't gone over the RUD. Again, I probably won't dive too much into those besides how you can acquire some of what you need for these. But you can see here, you actually need some of this RUD to get to the ability to then level up. So these need RUD and they need Soul, the SLS. So you're gonna actually need both of those to start leveling up your pets and your EvoSkulls. So that's interesting. How can pets acquire Soul, SLS? In addition to the coming missions, they will have daily rewards of SLS. This is important. This is the set it and forget it that you can't do with this, similar to your EvoSkull. So the EvoSkull generates the 9 grave that you need to claim each day. Well, pets acquire Soul at 1 per day at a max of 7. So after 1 week, you need to go claim this, otherwise it's gonna stop generating, meaning it's always gonna be 7 until you claim it. So 2 weeks later, if you never claimed, it still only generated 7. So there's one of those, another. It's an incentive for you to be staying atop of this, participating in the game mechanics, and making sure that you're actually claiming that SLS, because well, it's going to help you level up your pet, which is going to, I'm sure, increase your missions, allowing you to generate more of the other utility in the rewards. Here we go, the power of nature. In the future, they'll be able to access special functions in the laboratory to channel the power of nature's different elements. They'll acquire unique features based on their element, which then can be used in battles in the CroSkull Rivals game. All right, eggs. Eggs are important because, well, eggs get us those pets. And here you go. It talks about, again, it's the 500 grave. Season 1 eggs were limited to 2,200, so basically a third of what the total supply was of CroSkulls. They will be called S1 eggs and will hatch into seasonal pets by using the lab feature. Only 2 eggs can be purchased per wallet at a price of 500 grave each. I told you you could get 3 if you were paying attention to that a minute ago. That's just because they made a change to it about halfway through the ability to purchase the eggs. A lot of them, they hadn't sold out, so they gave everybody the option to acquire 1 more. So you did have the option to get up to 3 in Season 1. And you can see here, it says click here to purchase an egg. You can see here, mint pet eggs Gen 1, 22 of 2,200 were already minted. It was 500. You need more grave. Your limit, I got 2 of the 3 that I was allowed. And since we're on this, I'll just show you up in the top left. You can see here, it shows me how much grave I have. That's actually how much I claimed from my staking adventure from my 2. I had them staked for different amounts of time because I ended up acquiring a second skull, you know, I think within a week of getting my first. There's some souls balance, which I've gotten from my pets. If we go home, let's see. We've already talked about the adventure and the tavern, so let me hop into both of those real quick here. Adventure 1, you can see CroSkull Adventure S1. The season progress bar is all the way over because, well, the season's over at this time, so ignore the burn malice and all this. I just wanted to show you what the page looks like. If you had 2 skulls actually staked, they would be sitting right over here where it says loading. There's nothing to load because I don't have them staked. We did have to unstake them for the end of season 1, and then we'll be restaking for season 2. It's not a big deal because the transactions on the Cronos networks are very cheap in terms of the amount. We're talking pennies for transactions, folks. This is not Ethereum. But you can see here, this shows the little GRVE token icon. If we click on USD, you can see it shows that what I acquired in GRVE claimed-wise was worth about $45 at the current price. Let's go back to the home. Now let's head into the tavern that we talked about. So you can see here, there's my 2 skulls relaxing. I like those animated backgrounds. And we had mentioned story at the beginning. Well, if you click on story, which you can change this and you can create your own, it loads up the story for your NFT. So you can see here, you can edit the story, but you got the Twitter name of the person who had that. I'm gonna close that. This guy doesn't have a story, so nothing even shows up. But I think that's 10 GRVE for you to actually add a story to yours. You can see if I was on an adventure, my 2 skulls would be under adventure, not relaxing. If you come up here to the very top, this little icon is just your total inventory of the eggs, the potions, which potions I don't have. They're pretty expensive right now if you do want to acquire those. There's a little CroSkull. If you had an EvoSkull, it would be under this tab. Here's your pet tab. So here are my 2 pets right here. And then right here, that's community stories. I have not messed with that, so I can't talk too much about that. But what I'm doing right now, I use a ledger. So what I am doing is I am just unlocking my ledger right this second. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually claim this. You can see I've earned 12. We can only earn 7 per pet. So that means I'm a day away from being at my max amount. So what I'm gonna do is while we're sitting here, I'm actually just gonna claim this. Why not? So you'll see over here on the top left, this should go up to 18 after we do this. You can see here, it's gonna be a total of 0.77 CRO to get this transaction confirmed. And I was just showing you that that's 11 cents right now. So we're talking like 8 cents for me to claim this. So that's not a big deal if I'm having to do this weekly. I don't mind that. All right, so I've initiated that. We should see this hop up. Let's go back over to the home tab and let's see, what are we on right now? So we were just talking about the eggs and how we can purchase those eggs, which there's none to purchase right now. Season 1 is now over. And here you go. This talks about what we already went into, which these pets, well, you hatch your egg, which if we come over here and we go over into the laboratory, up here on the top right, if we had an egg, you would come in here and you would mint your pet from there. So if we back up, if you had the EvoSkull, same thing. You would be taking your purple potion and then you would be converting that. So you would be you'd be picking one of your skulls and you'd be converting them to an EvoSkull. Select skull plus select potion, approve. There you go. And then the potion laboratory. So if you have the red and the blue potion and you wanna turn it into purple, you spend 20 GRVE, you burn your 2 potions, and you obtain the purple. You can see right here, 277 of 333. So there are still some of these EvoSkulls if you're feeling crazy. Oh, here we go. Here's our 18 soul is now up there. But if we wanted to hop over into the, is it merchant or marketplace? Yeah, marketplace. Check out the cost right now for some of these blue potions. 56,000, 100,000. The lowest is 15,000 for a blue, and the lowest is 11,000 for a red. So you're talking 25,000, and I believe the floor is a little lower than that for an actual EvoSkull. You can actually see the CroSkulls are listed here as well, so you could actually click on this. It'll take you over to the Evos marketplace if you want to acquire one through here. And then we have the bank, which is another place that you could actually do some staking to earn some extra Rude, which we have not talked about. So you could actually stake some of your GRVE here, and you could obtain Rude by leaving it staked. I'm not gonna go too much into that. That's something you can read about on the Git book, just another way to earn some of the game mechanic items that you need. So let's hop back over into the Git book and see what else we don't need to talk about Season 1 pets. We just went over what you can do in the laboratory. We talked about the actual marketplace. Here we go. So here is the actual game. Multi-level game for the project. Adventure, season, missions are the starting phase. And you can see, under construction, because all of that is still getting worked on, and that is going to be coming up here in our future season. So that is exciting. Next thing I wanted to talk about, the raffle. I'm going to quickly hit on this. I love this mechanic here. So they have raffles. You can spend, they'll say whether it's grave, soul, rude, that it costs to enter these, but you can enter raffles that have a potential nice little payout. So if we come over here, we click on raffle, click on only active. This should load up if there's some active. I can also go over to the Discord and just load this up. So just to give you an idea, here's some of them right here where you can see new prize 10 whitelist spots to this collection. It would end up costing you, what's that, 50 cents in grave. And then it's got an end date. You know, on average, you're seeing maybe, 100 participants. You can always gauge that. You can see how many people have actually entered and are participating and what your chances might be. You can see here, there's going to be 10 winners out of 200 participants and how much you're having to spend to do that. So that's pretty neat. Here you go. We got it finally loaded up here on the actual raffle page and how you can participate. So that's really neat. I love that aspect of it. The bank, which is what I just showed you. So if you want to go read more about that and how you could do some, become a liquidity provider and actually earn, you can. This is where you're going to be able to drill into the tokens, learn a little bit more about how you can actually earn those, how they're going to get spent, what they're going to be used for. And then something I recommend would be hopping in and reading about the actual lore. That's part of the game mechanics, right? It's part of getting involved in the game, especially when it's web-based like this. And then if you need some extra information, there's all the contract addresses for the actual smart contracts. But that's all I got for you. I hope you guys got some awesome information out of this. I hope you enjoyed learning about those CroSkulls. And again, if you're interested, if you want to get some more information, if you want to talk with the community, hop over into the Discord. I will have those links in the description. You have been watching The Great Dane. If you like this, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, come back for more, and thanks for watching.